Hi, everyone. I'm going to give you 5 tips for a more inclusive meeting. And here's the key. Instead of trying to rely on ourselves to call on people equitably, we're going to create the conditions for inclusion. And here's the 5 tips. So number 1, send the agenda, topics, or questions in advance. This helps because it gives people who are more reticent an opportunity to think about and reflect on the topics for the day. So when they come to the meeting, they'll feel more comfortable contributing. Number 2, at the beginning of the meeting, verbalize your expectations. So for instance, I'd like to hear from everybody, or I'm hoping this will be inclusive, or this is going to be very interactive. Let people know what you want from the group. Tip number 3, do a round robin or a pitch. So if you're meeting in person, face to face, you can go around the room and you will hear from everybody. On Zoom, it's a little bit different. We can do what's called a pitch, where I call on the first person, and after they speak, they call on someone else. And after that person speaks, they call on the next, and you go around until you hear from everybody. But that takes the decision making about who to call on out of the hands of the meeting leader. Tip number 4, build in a 5-second pause after questions. So I got this tip actually from a really excellent book called What Works? Gender Equality by Design, really excellent book. And the idea here is that when you build in that 5-second pause, you give uh, people who need more time to reflect a chance to get their hands up. So you're not just calling on the first person who raises their hand every time. Um, so that can help things be a little more equitable. And then finally, tip number 5, while you're having your discussion, you can ask, does anyone have a different point of view? So instead of falling victim to groupthink, where everyone starts to say and think the same thing, you can actually invite disagreement. So those are my 5 tips. I hope they're helpful. And if you have additional tips, put them in the chat below.